fantastic. I mean, it was just a great day. The weather was wonderful. I had probably at least 50 people on the site at Dudley School, which is on the corner of 6th and Maryland. There was another workforce that was working on two other properties, and I think it was about eight or nine people over there. They didn't actually come to the site. They just went ahead and did the properties, and I think there was about nine there. So we counted like 51 at Dudley, and then the other nine will make it about 60 volunteers. And I think we had about 35 properties.
So, what was the end result? Would you call the event a success?
I would call it way over the top success. It was, the fact that we had the properties, but we had the other roll-offs at four other locations, and we had our three other commissioners and one of our directors that actually took care of the site until 12 o'clock. So that part was great. So I think it was over the top success because we were not only able to, clean up 35 or 35 cleanups and pickups. We were able to do shredding. We had roll-offs at every location. And at my location, we did 120 yards before 11:30 of trash. We had four roll-offs, and then we had another one that was actually being placed there at about a quarter to 12. So I think we went through enough of those, and it just proved to be a fantastic day. That's all I can say. It's just wonderful. And I also would like to thank my fellow commissioners, and that is Nick Paul, Warren Robinson, and Mark Tagley, who man those stations on Indian Wells and Scenic, 817 Scenic, and Panorama Avenue. Those are the three commissioners. And then the director of Parks and Recreation, she manned the one on Walker Road. So we had all of those covered, and I believe that every one of those sites saw some type of action. But I think at Dudley School, we had probably the most.
So where does this leave you for next year? Now you've got some bigger numbers to beat.
Well, you know what? I've got a strategy. In fact, I came back last night and I said, you think this would not be on my mind when I got back, but it was on my mind because I think that when you see that many people coming, it's like they tell you, but you don't expect them until they get there. I found out that I had more people than equipment. But the group that I had there was seasoned, mature, and they knew exactly what to do. If we don't have equipment, we do something else. They still wanted to be a part of it. So I thought that was fantastic. And then the people who did have equipment, they managed to work around where some of the things that we ended up getting a little bit more equipment. But, they were just fantastic. That's all I can say. And I'm going to work on having another strategy. I think I'm going to start buying my own tools so I can have them, because I usually ask people to volunteer that can bring, a level of tooling for us, like lawnmowers, weed eaters. And yesterday we were short like 3 weed eaters. But like I said, the people were, just entrepreneurs out there, and they just said, we'll do this, and we'll still get the job done. So it worked out beautifully. And of course, the sponsors and the people that worked with us, Sacramento Mountains Foundation, they helped with our T-shirts. So we were all pretty much uniform. I had ordered 53 T-shirts, and all 53 of them were gone. And so I thought I had ordered more than enough, and I found out that I didn't have enough. And then, of course, Amy Tilson from State Farm, she helped with our shredding company, and it's American Document Services out of Las Cruces. They came, and people were just waiting for them. It's like, we're here, and we're ready to go. And then, of course, we had our usual people from Parks and Recreation for the city of Alamogordo, our utilities department who delivered those roll-offs like, they were on a clockwork time. And so that made everything so easy. So nothing got to the point where it was spilling over or too much. They actually came just in time to get that done. And we had Adam from the Chamber of Commerce, and then we had Luke and Betsy, who just started last week from the city of Alamogordo that worked in the marketing department. They made sure that we had, all of that on the Facebook and on the signage on White Sands Boulevard. We had Adam, of course, from the Chamber, who did an aerial view of all of the locations that we had a roll-off at, and it just worked out. It just worked out really great. We, of course, had an after party, after cleanup party at one of my friend's house, and I just want to say thank you to Mary Lou and Kenneth Wood. So we were on it. We had the radio stations in Alamogordo who were doing the public service announcement. I said we had Bob Flott, Michael Shinaberry, Nadia Sykes. We had Crazy Radio and with Chris and Rini. We also had a float, and that was, produced and guided by Rini. He made sure we had everything on there we needed. We had prizes at each location. So the first 5 people at each location received a bag, and it just had, the vest in there, the orange vest that you wear just in case you want to be close to the curb and you don't want a car to hit you, and paper, plastic bags for pickup and things like that. So it was really, everything was really made nice to serve the people. I had, people who were landowners who donated the space for the cleanup, and I said I'm grateful for that. I know I'm leaving somebody off, but I'm just hoping that, they know that I appreciate all the help. And I said, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And I hope that next year we can actually have the tools on site, because if you're going to volunteer, we want you there. But hopefully we can have it a little better organized. But I don't want to be complaining about anything. I just think that everything went beautifully, and I'm just so grateful and thankful that people came out. They wanted to work with us. We had a great crew. They did everything that was asked of them and more. And like I said, even though we had a shortage of tools, they were industrious enough to say, we know what we need to do, and just got at it and did it. And then, of course, just all of the people in the area participating, bringing loads and loads of trash and just things that needed to be picked up in the city or in our district. And then we had, of course, our code enforcement from the city. I can't thank them enough for their help. I just really appreciate it. So this is just a thankful day. We had an abundance of people. I'm glad we had some place for them to go. We not only had people for the cleanup, but we also had Holloman working on Dudley School, which was, right on the property where we were at. And then, of course, we had next door, we had the community gardens with Many Hands, and they were on site for a couple of hours. So on that corner, it just seemed like a lot of things were going on, and they were, and people were stopping and viewing and, doing all that other stuff that people do when they want to know what's happening. But the things that were happening at Dudley School on that day was fantastic. I can't say anything but great things about the people in Alamogordo, and I said I'm so happy that we were able to do this. And I was telling my church family, because they were out there helping, I told them, I said, I really appreciate what you guys did. And it just makes you know that people want you to be successful. And when they do everything that they can, it makes you feel so much better to accomplish and do a good job.